tradition of Festivus begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're gonna hear about it.
I can give you all the things that you wanted before. If you listen.
Welcome to Orsini's Uncensored Mind, and now your host, AJ Orsini.
Hey, how is everybody doing? And this is AJ Orsini, and I am your host of Orsini's Uncensored Mind, and we are here today with episode 19. We're getting so close to the 20s, which was a good time in my life. I loved my 20s. Teens, not so much, but 20s, yeah, definitely enjoyed my 20s. How the hell is everybody out there? In case you cannot hear, I am a completely different person right now. I am healthy, practically 100%. I'm somewhere in the low to mid 90s. I do have some itches on my leg right now, so not 100%, but no one's ever 100% healthy. The bronchitis has been defeated, and I worked the program with the bronchitis for about a week or two. But like all good feuds, like all good programs, the babyface won out in the end. And that dastardly heel that was living in my lungs is now finito, gone, defeated, and off into wherever the fuck it goes. I hope wherever it goes next fucks that person up the same way it fucked me up. But I had defeated the bronchitis. The bronchial feud is now over. The Great War, as it is defeated. It's over. My son also has overcome his fevers, and my wife's eye situation is completely 100% healed. So the House of O running practically at full strength right now. Everything is going great. I have some more news for you guys. I made the announcement that I would be making an announcement. Go figure. It was an announcementception. I made some things. I'm gonna have to get rid of that. I just got pinged. See what happens when you're live, baby. Yeah, I'm going to have to worry about that another time. So, what's going to end up happening here now is I have some business I got to take care of. I made the announcement that I would be making an announcement, and the announcement is, on the last show, I had made everyone aware that now Orsini's Uncensored Mind would be available, searchable, and listenable on iTunes. It's been a great opportunity for me to get the show out and branch out and do different things with different people, and it's been a good run so far. It's been nice. It's been fun to be able to go on iTunes and have people look me up on iTunes, and it's been pretty cool. Well, the announcement, I was going to wait till later to do so, but I think the more I say it, the better it's going to end up being. But we can expand the horizon. I've been doing some work, making a few rounds, making a few emails, and now Orsini's Uncensored Mind is even more reachable to people who either don't have access to the Podbean or have other apps already on their phone and they don't really want to add the Podbean app. You also have the iTunes options, and I have two new options for you guys. Stitcher Radio has officially picked up Orsini's Uncensored Mind. I am now on Stitcher Radio, so if you have the Stitcher app, you can go ahead and search the show on there, which is another platform for the show. Very grateful for them for accepting me and improving me and adding me to the list of so many other great podcasts that are on that app. I'm also now on Google Play. Orsini's Uncensored Mind can be searched now on Google Play. If that's where you get your news, music, and otherwise entertainment from, you can now search me on there as well. So those are some new platforms in which you can find Orsini's Uncensored Mind. Just to recap, that's iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. Now, TuneIn is another popular app that people usually use. I cannot go ahead and say that I'm on there just yet. I have not received my confirmation email. I usually do like a confirmation email and then a search just to double check to see what the content looks like. And TuneIn has not gotten back to me. So when and if it does, I will let you guys know if TuneIn is also an option for you to pick up the show and listen to it and download it and do whatever it is you want to do. But so far, that would be it. I mean, you know, we're branching out here. excuse me, we're branching out here. We're doing some things, man. We're making some moves, and we're branching out. We're getting onto different avenues here, and we're getting heard by different people and different audiences, and this is getting exciting. It really is. It's getting me going. It's getting me randy right now because, as I said last week, when I started this thing, I didn't know how far I was really going to go with it, but I've just been motivated as all hell to pursue this and to keep going, and I think a lot of that motivation comes from the support that I've been getting. The Podbean app keeps track of a lot of the stuff that goes on with the show, and I'm like addicted to it now. It's like I'm on Podbean all the time now. I'm just checking my stats and making sure people are listening to the show, and it's a combination of two things. Not just you guys listening, but what the fuck do you guys want to listen and hear? Who do you want to hear, and what do you want to talk about? And it's crowdsourcing, and it's really like I really wanted to do this podcast as a creative outlet, but it's becoming more of a creative outlet than even I imagined. Like the different things, different topics that I'm touching on, and it's really making me think, and it's really pushing the envelope for me to really go forward and do more outside the box thinking on what I can talk about. Obviously, the dominant conversation on here always seems to be wrestling, and that's fine. I've come to grips with that. That's just my main interest, and it's what I do literally every day. So obviously, I'm going to be talking about that a lot. I was trying to do it very evenly in the beginning. If you go back to the earlier episodes, I was kind of breaking things up into segments. I said it before, it's all fluid stuff. And as we progress into these other platforms, I have to be less liquid. I have to be more solid on some of the things that I'm doing and have a clear-cut idea of what I want to do and where I want to go. So I'm getting more serious with this, and it's becoming less of a hobby for me and more of a direct passion. I'm really getting into this stuff, and it's kind of addicting. I'm going to be honest with you. Kind of addicting to be to have to come up with this material every week and to stay relevant on social media and just keep pushing. And in the beginning, when you first start this stuff, it's a really hard go to try to get people's attention. There's so many podcasts out there. There's so many avenues for people to go from listener to host, and there's so many different things that grab people's attention, and we live in a society now where attention spans are very short. So to grab people is a very difficult task. And then once you have them, to keep them is even more difficult. So I'm happy to say that so far it's been a very positive experience, and everything's been picking up, and it hasn't plateaued just yet. I look at that Podbean website literally every day, and that spike just keeps going up. So thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys for downloading and sharing and helping me get the word out on the show, and just thanks. It's been a hell of a ride. I don't know why I'm saying this now. It sounds like a wrap up, but I'm not. I just started the episode, but I really do. Like, I've been thinking about this stuff all week, and I just wanted to say thank you because it's been a lot of fun and a hell of a ride. And on that note, I have to give you guys a forewarning of some episodes coming up. The next, we'll say, I don't know, 8 episodes, maybe something like that. The next few episodes, definitely. I'm going to be recording at different times, so I may be behind on certain topics. I usually tend, because the show comes out on Wednesday, I usually tend to record either Monday or Tuesday. Tuesday is the main day. If I'm really busy, I'll do it up after work on Wednesday. But for the most part, Tuesday evening seems to be the time where I do my recording. That's going to be a little bit more difficult in the next few weeks because this is a new semester I've been going to college in my later years. I'm going to school, so my schedule's different from when I started doing this podcast, and Tuesdays, and for the most part even Mondays, are a difficult time to record. So I may end up doing it over the weekend. I'm not sure which day yet. I guess we'll have to see how each weekend plays out. My classes obviously are getting a little harder each semester, so it's more studying, it's more work. So I have to find time, once again, to do what I do, and that's balance everything all at the same time. And I don't want to give up the show. I don't want to stop doing the show. I don't want to stop working on the show. I want to make time for literally everything. So I have to be super husband, I got to be super dad, I got to be super host, and I got to be super student all at the same time. So it's going to be difficult. Next few weeks going to be difficult, but I will not relent. I will not yield. I will entertain for as long as I possibly can, and then you guys can expect excuse me, you guys can, I told you that I beat the bronchitis. I don't know why all of a sudden I got a hair in my throat, but this summer's going to be wild. With the equipment that I have, the interviews and stuff are really going to kick up. I already have a few people on deck for the next few weeks as well, trying to sneak them in during my vacations and during my weekends, and to get you guys more of a variety of different people to listen to. I've been asked recently, well, is it all going to be wrestling guests? No, it's not all going to be wrestling guests. I have different interests in life, so I will have people coming in to discuss those different interests. So if you guys have any interests of your own that you'd like to hear about on the show, please let me know, and I will definitely inquire. I'm not a shy person. I will literally show up to a guy's house and just say, here, do my podcast, like right now. And after I get arrested and bailed out, I'll probably keep trying because that's who the fans want to hear from. So I will keep on trying. So thank you guys so much. Again, I'll repeat all the platforms at the end of the show in case you guys haven't heard it enough. But yeah, Orsini's Uncensored Mind, man. It's all over the place now. It's getting there. We're getting there together as a team, squad, the squad of O. That's what you guys are. You are my squad. The squad of O is really making this work out. Speaking of which, I'm currently in the House of O. It's a barren wasteland here. No one's here. It's just me recording. And in the next few weeks, we're going to be doing some trips to New Jersey to visit family. So I may be taking this sumbitch on the road. So more information on that to come as it comes to me. I don't even fucking know just yet. So again, warning, heads up. So let's talk about some shit. Okay, because there's a lot of fucking shit that I wanted to get to. Because I got some shit I want to get off my chest. Now, I'm not angry as fuck. I actually haven't been angry as fuck since that episode. But no, I'm not angry as fuck. But I definitely have some complaints, and I definitely got some grievances, okay? I got some shit I need to get off of my chest. Because, like I said, you want to stay relevant, okay? You want to stay relevant on social media. And by relevant, I don't mean I'm not going to sit here and just put myself over. I just be just constantly attached to it. You know, you're constantly on it and making sure people are aware of your fucking existence. Just making sure people know that you're alive. And so in order to do that, you have to not only post your own shit, but unfortunately, you have to listen to other people's shit too. And you got to read their shit. Okay? And that's not always the best thing. So I wrote down a few notes. All right? I wrote down some notes. I don't normally have notes for the show. I like to just spitball it. The few times that I've had notes, my episodes sounded very structured and very rigid, and I didn't like that format. But today I do have a few notes because there's something that I got to talk about. The first one off the top of my head, I am going to cry foul on my own show. That's right. No one has criticized me for this. I'm criticizing me for this. This is me throwing my shit on the table and being honest with all of you. And one of the things that I keep seeing online is when it comes to podcasts, especially wrestling podcasts, a lot of people tend to complain because a lot of the podcasts are very WWE eccentric, meaning there's basically, when it comes to wrestling discussion, it usually tend to stick to WWE and not a whole lot of other shit. Okay, now I will take some blame and I will say that I am guilty of this myself. Most of the conversation that I have when it comes to wrestling on this podcast is indeed WWE related. This much is true. But I have mentioned, I'm not completely guilty in this. I've mentioned a lot of New Japan stuff on here. I've mentioned a lot of when I did the New Year episode, we did some AAA discussion. We've done some Impact discussion. I've done my Weekend Warrior spot where I've divulged into some indie wrestling stuff. So I'm not completely guilty of it, but I still throw my name in the hat because even I have to admit at least 80 to 85% of this fucking show is divulged into WWE-like topics. So on that note, I'm going to tell you right now, that's probably not going to change much. I'm throwing myself under the bus when it comes to that, but I'm going to be honest, it's probably not going to change much because it's very, very, very difficult, okay, to keep up with indie wrestling. So many things change on a dime. There's no real consistency in indie wrestling. There just isn't. You know, Raw and SmackDown is a very easy topic of conversation because it's as you can like the booking, you could not like the booking, but it's consistent in the fact that it's an episodic show. We can keep track of it. I can go back to my DVR and I can look at it again, or I can go on YouTube real quick and pull some stuff up and be able to explain stories and talk about what's going on. I can give you the reasons why it does or doesn't make sense simply because I have the access to do it. Same thing can be said about Impact. You can say what you want about Impact. It's a low-budget company, or there's people who love it and there's people that hate it. Either way, it's not an indie fed. I can look back, I can go to the archives, and I can check it out, and I can find out about it, and I can keep up on that. That's why it's easy to talk about. Ring of Honor is the same way. Ring of Honor is no longer an indie company. It's not. It's a television show. That's what it's been for a few years now. I can go back, and I can check it out, and it's easier to keep track of. They have exclusive contracted, not exclusive, but exclusive to television, contracted performers that are come, the Briscoes have been there for forever. It's easier to keep track of. There are some companies outside of the U.S., New Japan, AAA, we can head over to the U.K. now, and Progress and ICW, where, again, it's a little easier to keep track of. Because the rosters don't really change that much. At best, you'll get an influx of new talent. But the new talent just ends up converging with the old, so it's easier to keep track of. I can't keep track of these local indie shows. I just can't. I'd love to be able to sit here and just do a local indie wrap-up every fucking week, but it's just not possible. It's not feasible. For multiple reasons, of which some of these feds are using the same fucking people anyway. How many fucking wrestlers? I mean, I know wrestlers that work 12, 13, 14 fucking feds anyway. You know, especially if you're in a territory. I keep being told territories don't exist. That's horseshit. Horseshit. The Carolinas all have performers that stay in the Carolinas. Texas still has people that stay in Texas. Florida still has people that stay in Florida. The Northeast still has the Northeast. Midwest, I mean, yada, yada, yada. It goes on and on and on, my friend. Okay? There's a lot of different areas where there's not a whole lot of movement. So it's harder to keep track of. That's why I don't do too much indie. And I am, or at least I was, an indie performer that would travel around and not inside the ring. I was ring announcer, commentator, so I traveled a lot. So I'm telling you, I've been through this with shows before. It's a lot of, there's no storyline for the most part. For the most part, there really aren't storylines anymore when it comes, at least to indie wrestling. You can try, but the audiences are not consistent enough to really follow it. The boys on the indies, for the most part, don't know how to develop it. So it's just a lot of indie feds are based off of just prime matchups at the moment. You know, a lot of indie companies make their money off of dream matches. That's the big thing. They try to get the best matchups possible. They don't really tell too many stories in the sense of programs. There's really not a whole lot of long-term feuds going on in indie wrestling. It happens, and it goes from place to place. You know, you'll get two guys that link up together and have that match everywhere. You know, Homicide, Teddy Hart, Cabana, Punk, where it's like you'll have these two guys just constantly booked against each other in all these feds because they're all trying to capitalize on the great match. But for the most part, and I just gave you two that were like, 10 years ago? There aren't too many feuds now in the indies. There aren't too many storylines. There aren't too many things that'll grab you. So I don't divulge too much into it. So I'm putting myself in the hat. I'm just as guilty as everybody else. But at the same time, I mean, this is why there's so many podcasts devoted to just WWE. It's just easier to keep track of. If you're that much of an indie guy and you love it, you're obsessed with it, Godspeed, bro. Good luck. Here's the Google and go crazy. But I'm not sitting here all day breaking down indie shows. I'm just not. And that's I mean, I'll do it from time to time. Like I do with the Weekend Warrior spot. I'll give you cards. I'll try to sell some stories, tell some stories about the guys. But that's about as far as I go. I'm not doing that shit weekly. Fuck it. Too much of a headache. Absolutely not. And speaking of headaches, on to the next topic. Has anybody heard from their friends and family over in Philly? Are they still among us? So we're post Super Bowl here, folks. For those of you nerds that are living under a rock, I know football is not exactly everybody's favorite thing in the whole wide world, especially when it comes to my audience, which is wrestling fans. And for the most part, Not a whole lot of wrestling fans go back and forth. But for those of you who are under a rock here, the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl 52. First time in, 68 years, they said, that they've won a championship in the NFL. They beat one of the greatest teams of all time to do it. Yada, 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 yada. That's not the story, folks. The story is Philadelphia lost its ever-loving fucking mind and decided to melt, not burn, but literally melt their own fucking city to the goddamn ground. Now, listen, we can have the conversation about fans and obsessions with sports and yada, yada, yada. And I said it online the other day, and I'll say it here on the podcast. That is not what you saw in Philly, folks. Is not sports obsession. It's not. That is not what people obsessed with sports do. That is something people with fucked up characteristics do. That's a bad person thing. That's nothing to do with sports. Okay? I know a lot of sports fans, people who are just obsessed with the fucking sport. They would never dream to celebrate a win, no less. Not even a loss, but celebrate a win by flipping fucking cars over. Never. It's never happened. And I'm around a lot of them. We've never once said, oh man, we won the Super Bowl. How great. Fuck this flower shop. It's literally never happened. Ever. Now, Philly fans will defend themselves. Well, first of all, let's not lump all Philly fans together. There are a lot of Philly fans out there who did not do any B&Es following the fucking Super Bowl and did not slap around women and throw children off balconies and destroy the Ritz-Carlton or whatever the fuck is going on in Philly, the bonfires. There are a lot of Philly fans who were at home, who watched the game wearing a jersey with their kids and went, finally a championship. That was great. Let's watch This Is Us. You know, they just went about their fucking day. They went about their fucking night. They felt great. Probably had a stove, bottle of scotch, chilling. But the rest of you fucks are out there basically kicking in cement walls and fighting the police and shit. It was ridiculous in Philly. Now, Philly fans, the bad ones anyway, will defend themselves by saying, hey, we're not the only ones that do this shit. And they're right. They're not the only ones that do that shit. Boston's done it with the New England Patriots. I'm pretty sure we've done it here in New York. I know Baltimore's done it. By God, Baltimore is in the Riot Hall of Fame. A lot of stuff going down in old Maryland. Down south, they've done it. There's been a lot of bad sports situations. A lot of them. So they're not wrong in that. But, having said that, just because the guy next to you has also done it does not mean you are not the worst. By God, Philly, you are terrible. I'm telling you, your sports fans are ridiculous. It's the reason I didn't watch the game. I didn't watch one fucking snap. I didn't. And I watch every year. Even if I don't watch the season, I watch the fucking Super Bowl. But I could not bear to sit down and watch this fucking game. I had no rooting interest. I can't stand Tom Brady. I can't stand the New England Patriots. And to be honest with you, I have no real ill will toward the Philadelphia Eagle organization. I can't stand their fans. I'm a Giants fan, so I hate Cowboys fans, but I will deal with Cowboy fans long before I'll deal with a fucking Eagle fan. Long before. And Jesus, Jiminy, jumping ghost of Christ. I cannot stand fucking Philly fans. I cannot. I used to live in South Jersey for a little bit, and that's just South Jersey. That's not even the heart. That's not even ground zero of Philly. But Jersey is divided like that. Jersey is cut in half. About Trenton. Trenton's right in the middle of the state. Everybody below Trenton is an Eagle fan because that's the South Jersey is close to Philly. Everybody in North Jersey is a Giant or a Jet fan. Okay? So the whole entire south end of New Jersey, definitely Philadelphia fucking Eagle fans. Tons of them. Okay? And so I've been around a lot of them. And there's some good all fan bases have some good, but Jesus Christ, Philly fans. I was waiting for it. I said, man, I didn't watch a single snap of that game, but I turned the TV on when the game was over. I said, here it comes. Here comes the real Super Bowl, the real thing I wanted to see. And sure enough, man, Philly did not let me down. They did not disappoint. They tried to burn their fucking homes down. They didn't care. They was flipping cars. They was doing Hulk Hogan poses in the camera while doing it. It was amazing. I love when Philadelphia gets on this shit, boy. Woo. Good job out there, Philly. Good job. Destroys itself. Speaking of destruction, by the way, last week I made comments about a particular someone who dropped a video on his social media. And that somebody is Floyd Mayweather Jr. And I advocate the Jr. because someone needs to find Senior so he can slap some fucking sense into little Floyd. Floyd, what are you thinking, bruh? What's going on? You stepped into the octagon. You went and got yourself some Model shorts. I seen you. You got some Muay Thai shorts. They look, I think they're supposed to be boxing trunks, but he's so fly-eyed, he's so little that when he puts the shorts on, they look like little Muay Thai shorts. He look like he looks like Sagat. A little miniature Sagat, like a shrunk in the dryer Sagat, like a little, and then black, right? So it's like a little miniature shrunken brown Sagat, complete with fucked up eyes and everything. Like Floyd just got these fucked up eye sockets. I don't know. His orbital bone is misshapen. I don't know what happened. I don't know if those were punches to the face. I don't know if that was God doing his thing. I have no idea. But his orbital bone is fucked the fuck up. Anywho, if he keeps heading down the path he's heading to, he's going to get a lot more fucked up in his face than his fucking orbital bone. I'll tell you that much right now. Because now they're talking words. Okay, now they're saying things like Conor's challenging McGregor. McGregor's challenging Floyd. He wants round 2 inside the octagon. Jesus Christ on a popsicle stick, son. And let me tell you this. If you fuckers out there listening to my voice right now, if you buy Conor versus Mayweather in anything, I don't care if it's ping pong, I don't care if it's shuffleboard, I don't care if you guys want to sit down and watch these motherfuckers thumb wrestle. You spend another $1 on McGregor and Mayweather, I don't want to hear shit from you about no complaints and no grievances about that shit either. Nothing. You've been had. You were bamboozled. That first fight, that boxing match, was about as worked a fucking match as I've ever seen in my life. And for the record, my job is pro wrestling. Okay? That fucking fight was as worked a fight as I've ever seen. I have never seen a professional fighter who was undefeated, who was a champion in multiple weight classes, has beaten the very best. I've never seen a boxer of that ilk go into the ring with an inexperienced fighter like Conor McGregor and keep it so even in my entire life. He had no defensive strategy. He was just moving, taking hits, throwing hands, keeping the jab alive. He didn't want a first round knockout. It's the first time I've ever seen a fighter get in the ring and not intend to either knock someone out or do harm. He didn't even dance either. He just stood there. They played it up. That's it. It was a work from day fucking one. The first press conference, it was all a work. Every single moment of that shit. So if we get a part 2, the UFC fight will be no different. It will be no different. A UFC fight between Conor and Floyd is going to be the same shit. Only easier if you think about it. Because at least in a UFC fight, you got rest holds. You can't rest hold in the boxing match. You just got to throw your hand. UFC, you can go to the ground. Floyd gets in that guard position. That's it. We just sit there. Conor comes in, uses the legs. That's it. We're going to be in that position all day long. It's going to be even easier to work it in the UFC than it was in boxing. So if you motherfuckers pay a dime, I don't care what it is, synchronized swimming, I don't care if the two of them stand on a platform and race to see who can tie their shoes the fastest, which, by the way, in a bet, I'm going to go Conor. I don't think Floyd even knows what shoelaces are. But for the most part, you spend one dime on any of these motherfuckers ever again, I don't want to hear shit. It's a work. You knew it was a work. The next one will be a fucking work. So if you spend the fucking money, know what you're spending your money on. You're buying pro wrestling without pro wrestlers in it. That's what you're doing. That's what that is. So no complaining, right? Floyd and Conor part 2. Y'all can have that. I'm all set. Speaking of all set, I'm on a segue tear tonight. Speaking of all set, I'm all set when hearing these motherfuckers with an A talking about the Royal Rumble situation with Ronda Rousey ruining Asuka's big moment. I've heard that sentence 1,000 times. I heard it on the way home to film this shit today. God damn. Ruining Asuka's moment. I didn't get a chance to talk about that when I brought up the Royal Rumble on the podcast because I was trying to get to other things. Because it was being talked about that night. I just shrugged it off because I didn't think people were serious. To be honest with you, I didn't. I didn't think people took that shit seriously. When they said, well, Ronda was stepping on Asuka's moment. Stepping on Asuka's moment? What moment? This is the part that I'm confused about. What moment did Ronda Rousey step on? That's where I'm lost because people are saying, well, it was Asuka's moment because it was the first ever Women's Royal Rumble and she was the winner of that match. And before she could even get a chance to really celebrate that moment, here comes Ronda Rousey to come out and point at a sign. Yeah, that sounds about right to me. I'm still lost. What exactly did she step on? Asuka was still standing there. If anything, Asuka shoving her hand away like that, all disrespectful, like that shifted shit, did it not? Here's my problem with the phrase stole her moment. This is where I have complications. Ronda Rousey stole Asuka's moment. And I've been responding ever since with the phrase, what moment? What exactly did Ronda crush by coming out? Her celebration? Did Ronda coming out take away the win? Is Asuka now taken off the books? Is Stevie Richards now the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble? 2017? First ever? No, Asuka still won the match. What moment? Are you talking about the celebration? Did she ruin the celebration? Here's the thing. If you were to choose any other female in this situation, any other female, pick any of the other 29 that were in that match, right? And you put them and you at the end and they win the Rumble and then Ronda comes out, I can see the argument a little better. If Becky had won the Royal Rumble and Ronda came out to point at the sign, I'd kind of get it. Because Becky is a great hand, but she hasn't really done that much. She's a former SmackDown Women's Champion, but for the most part, she's a mechanic. She comes out, she helps get the other gals over. Sasha hasn't done a whole lot. 4-time Raw Women's Champion. No title defenses, but 4 times. But she hasn't done a whole lot. Even if one of the unders, get a Mandy Rose or a Ruby Riott, any of those women win the Rumble and then Ronda comes out, yes, I might actually be on board with Ronda stole the moment. But it was Asuka. You know, the currently undefeated Asuka. You know, the one who's either tapped or pinned every opponent she's ever had in the WWE, literally ever. You know, the Asuka that reigned as NXT Women's Champion for 500 plus days and only relinquished it because of an injury. You know, the Asuka that won the Royal Rumble and then the very next night had 2 of the most important segments on the show dedicated to just her. You know, because the Royal Rumble, the men's Royal Rumble winner was on SmackDown. So who was the sole focus for the outcome of the Royal Rumble on Raw? Oh, that's right. It was Asuka. And then Asuka would not only go on to share the same ring with Stephanie in the opening segment, but then defeat Sasha Banks later that night. What moment was ruined here? I'm confused. Asuka has had 1,000 moments. 1,000 of them. And you know what? That little setup with Ronda Rousey, that whole point of her coming out there was to set up more moments for Asuka. So I'm having trouble feeling some sympathy here for that. I'm sorry. I don't get it. I'm lost. Now, I've been saying that for a few days now. I'm lost. I'm confused. I don't see where the disrespect is. But now, as of this morning, if anything, I finally started to figure it out. I started writing some notes for myself. I started kind of get it. I said, you know what? You know why I don't see it? I know why I don't see it. Because people are reacting to what they see. They're not including what they know because they don't know. See, as a fan, you saw your favorite performer, or if not your favorite, definitely someone you respect, win one of the most high-profile women's matches of all time. So you would think, oh, they're going to revel in this moment. They're going to revel in this victory. That part, I understand. I think the reason why I was confused is because I'm not looking at this from someone on that side of the rail. I'm looking at this as someone on the inside. And on the inside, does it sound like I'm whispering? On the inside, because I really want you guys to pay attention to this. You ready? On the inside, you have to learn something along the way. You ready? It's not about you. Wild concept. I get it. But here, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to whisper it to you. Ready? Follow along. It's not about you. Surprising. I know. But yeah, it's not about you. That moment was not about Asuka. Yeah, she won. But that moment was shared. It was shared 30 ways. 30 women entered that match. That match, that moment, was for 30 of them. It wasn't for the one. I know Asuka won, but it really wasn't for the winner. I know we're programmed. Most Royal Rumbles, it's all about the winner. He's the person they're going to push. He's getting the shot at the championship at WrestleMania. He's going to main event. This is all about him. But that's not what this Rumble was all about. That Royal Rumble was not about the winner. It was about the 30 women. We had a 30 women Royal Rumble match. And if you weren't paying attention to it, it was damn good. It was a good match. These ladies proved they can do it too. That should have been the real moment. Not just Asuka's win. Every time that buzzard hit, it was history. You were witnessing the dawning of a new era every time the buzzer hit. Ronda Rousey coming out. Ronda Rousey, one of the most influential sports figures in the world today. One of the greatest UFC champions, regardless of gender or weight class, of all time, coming to pro wrestling, coming to the WWE on the big stage to let everybody know that she's headed to the biggest show of the year. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not on the bandwagon. Absolutely not. I am not on the bandwagon. Asuka's going to be all right. Ronda is going to be all right. All these ladies are going to be all right. So let's chill. Let's stop with the Ronda Rousey stepping on Asuka's moment conversation because it's a moot point. No one stepped on anything. If anything, Ronda coming in at the end of that legitimized everything. That was the point. That's why Ronda came out. Okay? We have some other things coming up. The Royal Rumble just passed. We are headed to the Elimination Chamber. And after the Elimination Chamber, of course, the granddaddy of them all, the WrestleMania, right? WrestleMania is coming up soon. And this past Raw, Alexa Bliss finally addressed being in the first ever Women's Elimination Chamber match. And she decided she was going to state her case. She didn't want to be in this match. Felt it was unfair. Why should she have to defend her championship inside of an Elimination Chamber? And yet, Brock Lesnar, the Universal Champion, he gets to take the night off. Doesn't seem fair. Actually sounds kind of sexist when you say it out loud. But those aren't the facts. See, the facts are Alexa Bliss hasn't been defending the championship nearly as much as she should. And if you think about it, not even think about it, if you look it up, her stats look almost identical to Lesnar, and Alexa is on every show. Every show. And still doesn't defend the championship. Also, if you want to start making comparisons, Alexa Bliss, Brock Lesnar, not even the same fucking thing. Actually, kind of insulting when you think about it. So, I have a very simple solution for everybody who was agreeing with her, because there was a lot of people who were like, oh, she made so much sense. She did. She made so much sense. He's sitting at home. She has to do all this work. What the fuck? Here's what the fuck. Lesnar is an attraction. You know how he got to be an attraction? He's Brock Lesnar. He got buy rates. He sells tickets. He puts asses in seats, not just for wrestling, but for the UFC. This guy is a pay-per-view draw. His appearances, fuck his matches, his appearances draws money. When you draw money as the Raw Women's Champion, you too can take time off. And that's not a sexist remark. Look at the women before her. Look at what Trish is the perfect example. A simple Trish appearance is money. A Lita appearance is money. A Beth Phoenix appearance is money. When Alexa retires, I promise you, she'll be money. Until then, she gonna need to do that work. She got how many years in? Brock's got how many years in? Gotta catch up, sweetie. Equality is here. This is it. Equal rights. Equal rights. There it is. Come and get it. Alexa, when it's all said and done, Alexa is going to be in the conversation. Okay? She walked into last year's WrestleMania, which was her first WrestleMania ever, as the SmackDown Women's Champion. This year she'll walk in as the Raw Women's Champion. Technically speaking, based on the stats, she's already a Hall of Famer. Already. And she's just getting started. So she's on the path. Alexa Bliss is going to be one of the best women's champions of all time. There really is no debate about it, based on the way they've been using her. And this is just the beginning. It's only going to get bigger from here. But you ain't there yet. Not yet. So get your ass in that chamber and do what you need to do. It's going over anyway. So just do what you got to do. Work it. That's the Elimination Chamber coming up, by the way, and that's going to be historic. But speaking of people who make history, I am a segue machine at this point. I'm not even trying at this point. It's just kind of happening. But speaking of history, when you make history, folks, you make enough of it, you get the chance to grace the great halls. The Hall of Fame. Oh, yes. So many greats and non-greats. And a couple of what the fuck moments have come when discussing the Hall of Fame. The WWE Hall of Fame is a mythical being. It's just kind of air. It just kind of happens. It's a thing, right? No real criteria. No physical building. It's just the title you have. You're a Hall of Famer. Now here's the deal. I actually do respect the WWE Hall of Fame. I do. Because the WWE is the top brand. So if they consider themselves a Hall of Fame, or they consider something a Hall of Fame, or they consider you a Hall of Famer, to me that carries a whole lot of weight. I know a lot of companies not worth 10 cents. They have Hall of Fames. So for the WWE to have a Hall of Fame, it's pretty awesome. And I really get into it. This is just me spitballing. I really get into it. So when they name these names, there's always speculation. People have their feelings, and I'm no different. And so far this year, coming up, 2018 class, they've already announced their headliner, which is Bill Goldberg, the former WCW superstar. I know he's done some shit in the WWE, but fuck it, no one cares about the WWE shit. Not one person. It's all about the streak, daddy. It's all about WCW. And Goldberg was a force in WCW. The tag team going in, the Dudley Boys, which obviously not a shock. One of the greatest tag teams of all time. You can make an argument that they might be the best of all time, but Legion of Doom, Steiners. I mean, we can go all day with that argument, and I know that I will. I know that I will. I've got some plans, by the way, when it comes to different discussions like that. And I'll get to that at the end of the show. So the reason why I bring up the Hall of Fame, not just because of Goldberg and not just because of the Dudley Boys, the reason why I bring up the Hall of Fame is because I think there's a line that should be drawn somewhere, and this is just my take on it. And you could take it, you could leave it. I don't really give a shit. You could take it, leave it, wipe your ass with it, give it to the neighbors. Maybe not in that order, but you can do whatever you want. But when it comes to the Hall of Fame, there needs to be some sort of fucking parameter here, and not just for people that go in, because I actually don't have a problem with the 2 people going in this year. I have a problem when it comes to the discussion of the validity of the people that go in. Validity, there it is. I said it too fast before. It's like when Michael Cole does the WWE. WWE. I don't know what WWE is. I don't know. It sounds like one word. WWE. Sounds like something when you're on LSD and you just try to get words out. WWE. But yeah, I don't like putting my words together. But the validity of the people that get into the Hall of Fame, whether or not someone is worthy of being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I never get into those conversations because to me, who the fuck am I to be sitting here deciding whether or not someone's worthy of it? I can sit here with the rest of you and talk about how much I enjoyed their work and how much I did not, or if I was a fan of it or if I wasn't. But to say that somebody who puts the sacrifices and the work in the way that these guys have, to say that they're not worthy of a Hall of Fame, I think is above my pay grade, and I think it's above everybody else's pay grade as well. And the only problem that I have with the Hall of Fame, to be honest with you, and this might be nitpicking a little bit, but I don't like the arena. I don't like doing it with so many fans. I love the fact that the floor is reserved for the talent and for the staff, and I know they want to sell tickets to the thing, and I get it. And for the most part, a lot of the fans that go, they're very respectful, and it's a good time. It's a long time, but it's a Hall of Fame ceremony, which means it's supposed to be a long time. These people are they're going into the Hall of Fame. This is their celebration of their careers. You can't do their careers in a 5-minute soundbite. You need fucking time. So it's a long time, but it's a good time. And when you have these situations where you're getting drunk fans at the Hall of Fame, they're basically buying tickets to drink and listen to people talk, you're going to get problems. Especially around the 3rd or 4th hour, you're going to start losing some people. And this is why I really do think they should take this shit out of the arena. I really do. I think if they did something similar, where it'd be like a theater or a smaller, more intimate venue, and you can still have the staff and all those people come, and then you can do like a balcony or a mezzanine thing for fans. But you got to limit the fans. You can't have all of them, okay? Or you can't have just thousands upon thousands. Next year, I think it's still up in the air. It's not official yet, but all roads are pointing to the Hall of Fame. Not Hall of Fame, excuse me. WrestleMania being in New York, New Jersey next year. They did that back in 29. I was there. If it is indeed in the building again next year, I will be there. No doubt about that. But if they do, doing something like the Hall of Fame and say like, the Hammerstein or the Garden Theater or something like that would be so much better than doing it at Prudential or doing it in the arena. Just don't do it in the arena, please. I'm not saying all that fans shouldn't go, and I'm not saying all fans are bad. I'm just saying you get enough of them with some alcohol in them, and it starts to it gets crazy, and it gets out of hand, and we start getting chants, and they start trying to take the whole show over. It's just bad. It's bad all around. So please, if you're planning on buying a ticket to the Hall of Fame, control yourself, please. Control yourself. By the way, this is another thing this is my own personal opinion, but if you're a worker, if you're in the business, if you're getting bookings, if you're working with some of the guys that are possibly even being inducted that night, if you're a part of the fraternity, if you're in the business and you attend the Hall of Fame, you'd better be suited up, bro. I'm being dead serious about that. You need to represent the business. You need to be suited. If I don't have any intentions of going to the Hall of Fame, but if I ever had the opportunity, or if I was ever personally invited to go to the Hall of Fame, brother, I'd be dressed to the goddamn nines. The Nines. I got some pretty nice tailored suits in the closet right now that I know I would throw on. I'd get it dry cleaned today and just fucking rock it. And I'd make sure my wife also dressed to the nines. You gotta look. We gotta get the elegant look up. Mrs. O gotta come and bring it. Bring the ladies out and come in respectful. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be dressed up. You gotta represent the business. Now maybe that's old school of me. Whatever, but and you're probably hearing this going, well, I'm not being inducted. What the fuck? Well, you don't have to be inducted. Have some respect for the ones who are being inducted. Without their fucking blood, sweat, and tears, you wouldn't be able to work for $20 a fucking weekend. All right, so just put on some fucking even if you don't have a suit, bro. Get some fucking go to Walmart, get some fucking khakis and a button down, brother, and fucking trim up the hair, smell nice. You know, come in, respectable. If you can't wear a suit, at least put on the bootleg job interview outfit. You know, get the Dockers going with the fucking the Payless shoes. You know, the ones for like $19.99 and kind of stressed out to the sides. Those just fucking rock them, and just fucking go in there and shake the hands and you know, just be a part of the fucking business. Jesus fucking Christ, getting sick of these fucking people coming in here with shorts and shit. Get the fuck out of here with that. Go away with that. Fuck. Not angry. I'm just venting. I'm just complaining. And I'm just airing some complaints and grievances, bro. That's it. That's all I'm doing. By the way, folks, as we get closer to the end here, this is February. I don't know if you guys know. I don't know if I've said this in the podcast before. It's interesting because I'm thinking about it now. I don't know if I've ever fucking said it, but I'm not biracial. I'm mixed. I've four major races within me, I guess you could say. I'm multicultural in a way. Puerto Rican, Black, Italian, and Chinese. So I have my mother's side is Puerto Rican and Italian, and my father's side is Puerto Rican, Black, and Chinese. I think I've said this on the first episode, but my name, AJ Orsini, comes from my parents. AJ, I'm Junior from my dad's name, and Orsini was my mother's maiden name. That's where the Italian, you know, Orsini is more Italian, you know, so that's where I got it from my mom's side. And my actual last name is Ling. A lot of people don't know that. Ling. So I got a lot of different shit going on in here. When I tell you my childhood was very confusing, I'd be lying to you because I simplified everything. I got people in my family that speak Mandarin. I got people in my family that speak Italian and speak Spanish. My son is actually learning Mandarin and Spanish. Mandarin from the daycare and Spanish from at home. He's picking it up in bits and pieces. He's counting. My son is 3. He can count in 3 languages. Ha. So suck a fat one, folks. That's parenting right there. From my wife. I didn't parent that. I don't know what's going on with my son. My son's already smarter than me and he's 3. So, well, he'll be 3 this month. The 27th will be my son's B-Day. So that should be fun. But the reason why I bring it up is because it's February. And every time that I tell people that I love Black History Month, they always look at me and say, what the fuck do you care about Black History Month? Well, I'm black, motherfucker. My dad's blacker than you. I have an extremely black dad. And people can't tell that when they look at me, obviously. If I were to pull my pants down, you'd see it. But facially, you really can't see the black. You know, I have many different features. You know, I look Asian. I used to get a lot of shit when I was a kid. You know, people thought I was a fucking Eskimo. No lie. They were like, "Oh, you're from Alaska," which is where the Azul thing started. But that's another time. That's a story for another day. I used to get Samoan. People say I look Samoan. When I got older in my teens, I looked like people were like, "You look like Taz." I look like Taz a little bit. So I've gotten a lot of fucking comparisons. Anyway. I do have some African American in me, or should I say my mom had some African American in her. Ha! But anywho, Black History Month is big. I work with kids, so to celebrate the lives and work of the African American communities, from the people who helped pave the way along the way, it's a good time. So I know you're not supposed to pick one month to like Black History, but it is designated as a time. So if you were going to sit back and learn more about the history, this would be the fucking time to do it. And when it comes to Black History Month, I will spin it back toward wrestling because there's always that one question that is always asked amongst wrestling fans and argued and debated until the end of fucking time. And that is, why on earth have we not had a black WWE champion yet? And that is a very, very muddy fucking conversation. But I'm going to purify it for you. Okay? We've had one, and I know people are not going to like it. Okay? But The Rock is black, folks. I know he's not 100% black. I know he embraces more of his Samoan heritage than his black heritage. I know all those things. I've heard them all. But here's the thing. Regardless of what The Rock can accept, regardless of what you can accept, that is a black man. He has African American DNA in his genes. If you look at The Rock's daddy, he blacker than black. Okay? He is African American. You cannot take away facts. I don't care what you feel. I don't care what you think. I don't care how you take it. It doesn't matter. Rock's mom took it, and that's why he's here. He is African American and of Samoan descent. That's what it is. But having said that, if I were to take your stance on this and eliminate The Rock from the conversation, and this is where I went ahead with this, you have a strong point. How the fuck have we not had a purebred 100% African American WWE champion? Now, I've heard excuses on the other side. Well, if we had more marketable black men, we would have had a WWE champion. Vince loves money. This is what I hear all the time. Vince loves money. If he could make $1 on your black ass, he'd put the belt on you. Horse shit, and I can prove it. You ready? Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through, okay? I can prove it to you. He's had many black men who could draw a dime and could be a world champion. You know how I know? Because they already were. They already were. Let's start all the way back. You think Ernie Ladd could have been a world champion? You're damn straight he could have been. He was a champion everywhere else he went. You go a little deeper, a little. You think JYD could have been a world champion? Hell yeah, he could have been a world champion. He had already proved it in his territorial efforts. Everywhere he went, he was a top guy. He drew money. You think with the WWE machine behind him, he couldn't have drawn money? Of course he could have drawn money. You go a little further. Now, the next guy I'm going to mention is already in the WWE Hall of Fame and is recognized as the first actual world heavyweight champion of African American descent. And yes, I'm talking about the man himself, the great Ron Simmons. He was already a world champion. And if your excuse is, but he wasn't a very memorable world champion. He didn't draw any money as the world champion. Yeah, because he was working for WCW. And this is the Bill Watts WCW. The Jim Herd days. This is the early 90s days where they didn't know a wrist lock from a wristwatch. Okay, when there was so much infighting, they couldn't get it together. He was the token black guy. He didn't have to be, but that's what he ended up being. He was the black champion that they were trying to go against the grain. Look, see, we're not that kind of company anymore. Look, we gave the black guy the belt. Now, it just so happens, to be fair, that the guy that they were just trying to settle that debate with happened to be genuinely fucking talented. And here's the important part, folks, well respected. Not just from his peers, but the fans. Ron Simmons was legit. He's a Heisman Trophy winner, for Christ's sake. His number was retired at the University of Florida. Florida State. Okay? He was a legit athlete. Real deal. Built like a truck. Looked like $1 million fucking bucks. Can shoot a goddamn promo. Now, if you're wondering to yourself, that current gimmick, where he was rocking when he was fresh out of Doom, when he became WCW champion, that wouldn't have gotten over that big in the WWE. Okay, I'll give you that. I disagree, but I'll give you that. Now we fast forward to the WWE version of Ron Simmons, the Nation of Domination. Are you fucking kidding me? Now, The gladiator helmet, fucking Farouk, no good. But when he became the big heel, Nation of Domination, getting all that heat, come on, brother. Come on, brother. I still say they missed a boat. The chase would have been great. If Farouk would have beaten The Undertaker at that King of the Ring match that they had and became the WWF champion, are you fucking kidding me? He would have had great matches with all of their baby faces at that time. He was a legit world title contender at that point, and there's no fucking debating that. There's no fucking debating that. Just like Punk said in 2000 when he was doing the straight edge thing, the best bad guy should go against the best baby face, and that's what happened. Taker was the champion. He needed a credible heel to go against. They gave him Farouk. Okay? That was a sign of faith for his talent. Okay? But if you're going to explain to me that he shouldn't have been world champion at that point, horseshit. Horseshit. Okay? Psycho Sid was a champion during that era. You can't tell me that Psycho Sid and Farouk standing side by side with the audience reaction, one is a babyface for Sid, one is a heel for Farouk, that they're not on the same level. At least the same level. But Farouk was never treated as a top guy, in spite of the fact that he was respected as one, not just from the fans, but from his peers. Farouk was well respected. He could have been a world champion. He was already a world champion. He was tailor-made for that situation. Never pulled the trigger. I wonder why. Fast forward again. Okay? Now, some of us are going to disagree. But let's not look through this through 2020 vision. Let's look in the moment. Ahmed Johnson, you guys were thinking about it. Okay? Would have been a bad decision. Thank God you didn't. But you thought about it. Still didn't pull the trigger. I wonder why that was. Fast forward again. We have another African American who is a world champion. Booker T wins the WCW World Championship. The same championship that Ron Simmons won. Only he won it 5 times. Now, granted, he won it in an era that wasn't nearly as stacked as his earlier days when he was the TV champ and the US champ randomly every other week. You know, he didn't beat the Hogans and the Goldbergs and the Kevin Nashes of the world and all those old school WCW guys. He beat younger talent. He beat Jeff Jarrett. He didn't have the talent pool he was going against, but he was a proven commodity, which is what we're talking about here. He was a proven commodity. He came to the WWF with the heavyweight championship of the world. And the WWE still can't tell me that he couldn't have been a WWE champion because they ended up giving him a world title anyway. When he became King Booker, they gave him the World Heavyweight Championship. Mark Henry won the World Heavyweight Championship, but they never held the WWE Championship. That was held for Cena. That was Cena's belt, the WWE Championship. It wasn't for anybody else. And they're not even the only ones. Bobby Lashley's going to get a rematch at that. He just might have a rematch at that because they were pushing him and grooming him for that early in his career. Now he's coming back. Maybe he gets another opportunity. I've never exactly seen Kofi Kingston as a possibility. I will never see him as a world champion. Big E, he's got a shot. Legitimately, folks, why haven't we? We've had the opportunity. You can't sell me on the fact that we haven't had any black guy who couldn't draw a dime. Bullshit. You've had a lot of black guys in a lot of high-profile situations. And trust. You've trusted them. You just didn't trust them enough. You just didn't have the guts to pull the trigger. Triple H did. He made Big E the NXT champion. The black guys, the Japanese guys, the Hispanic guys, everyone gets a fair shot in NXT. So maybe the window of opportunity is open. Maybe now with 2 Japanese performers winning the Royal Rumbles in the same night, maybe cards on the table, all bets are off. Maybe now will be the opportunity for that to happen. I don't know. But here on Black History Month, as we go and progress, the names that I just threw at you, those guys are legends. Okay? Some not so good. Some great, but all legends, and all paved the way for guys that are coming up right now. So big shout out to those guys. Thank you for opening the doors up for me as well to be here. I'm getting ready to take this some bitch home. But just real quick, I want to remind everyone, again, we have different avenues here that we can take to listen to Orsini's Uncensored Mind. Again, we are now on iTunes. We are on Stitcher. We are on Google Play. We have a lot of different options here for you guys to catch the show. I'm waiting very patiently for TuneIn to get back to me. Once I do, I will let you guys know. So thank you so much for listening to the show. Please keep supporting. I got a lot more stuff coming at you guys. The YouTube channel just got a whole bunch of new content. There's extra content on the YouTube channel now. AJ Orsini 96 host on YouTube. You can check that out. We added some clips from the roundtable that didn't make the episode. It's extra content. The audio, my audio for some reason was really low. When I recorded it, I sounded fine. I sounded great. For some reason, I don't know why, I came out very low and distorted. No clue why. So if you can barely hear me, I apologize. But I put it up anyway because the guys were funny and the conversation was funny. So whatever. There's some pretty outlandish shit over there. So I got the Snapchat going, the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, all that shit. As always, you can email me. As a matter of fact, before I go off the air, hold on. I actually did get some messages today. Oh my God, I can't. You know what? Because I'm so used to not getting them. I'm signing off here, and I just now realized that I didn't get a chance to really answer. I did get one. Hold on, I'm trying to get to it right now. Jesus Christ. Whew. I'm glad hold on, I'm just now realizing that this was here. I apologize. So let me see here. Okay. What's going on here? Okay, I actually do have a question. It's online here. It was buzz. That's what the buzz was at the beginning of this episode. That's why I didn't think much of it, because I didn't get any responses before I started recording. So apologies. So I'm going to get this question in, and then I'm going to answer it, and then we'll be out of here. So let me see. Stephen James from Hive Mind Radio. Shout out to Stephen James. Puts on the page here. Has the first. This is the first time I'm reading it. I have not read this before. Literally, just this is happening all right now live. So has the first time in history thing began to give diminishing returns for the current women's product? Why do you think there are less... Come on, dude. Why do you think there are less personal issue-driven storylines in pro wrestling today? Wow, there's a lot of shit in here. If you could start a promotion sharing with independent wrestlers, who would it be under this format? What? One major champion, one challenger, one tag champs, tag challengers, a mid-card champion and challenger, and one comedy act. Okay. All right. I'm going to answer literally all of that, and I only have a few minutes to do it. So here's the thing. Okay. So has the first time in history thing been giving diminishing returns? Absolutely not. And the reason for that is because it literally is history. After the Chamber, they're out of firsts. There's literally nothing else. Everything else is just like main event shit, like main eventing WrestleMania, headlining because the women just all 30 women just headlined a fucking pay-per-view. 30 women. Kelly just headlined a pay-per-view. How about that? Okay. So yeah, I mean, if you want to look at it like that, like they just kind of overdid it with the 30, maybe, but as far as diminishing returns for the first time in history, absolutely not. The Elimination Chamber might be the last first ever. There aren't too many other first evers. At this point now, they've been given their shot to try, and they've proven they can do it. So from here on out, it's about putting in that work and taking the first time and trying to strive to become best of. You know, now you're a part of the group. Now you're in the frat. Now you got to earn your stripes. So it was nice to get all these first times in, but now it's time to kick it into high gear. Why do you think? You put thing. I'm gonna go with think. Why do you think there are less personal issue driven storylines in pro wrestling today? I think there's less personal issue driven storylines in pro wrestling today because this is going to sound horrible, but there aren't that many pro wrestlers out there that can sell that kind of a storyline. It's really comes down to that. In order to sell a personal issue driven storyline, to be honest with you, you have to be able to act. You have to sell the story. I have to believe this is a personal fucking issue. Not just I'm angry with him or I'm angry with her. I don't believe you're angry with her. I think you're angry with her now because it's Thursday or Tuesday or whatever the fuck. I don't really genuinely believe that you have a personal issue. It's very hard now in a world of TV where everything is fake, everything is worked. I mean, with the Kardashians running the world right now, to believe what a personal issue storyline really is anymore. Everything is so out in the open. Everything is so public. Everything is just so out there right now. So to believe that this person is genuinely hated, I don't know if people buy into it. So if you could start a promotion starting with independent wrestlers, who would it be under? Oh, you just walked in. Hey, buddy. Oh, that's nice. If you could start a promotion starting with independent wrestlers, who would it be under this format? The format for me is very. You put a bunch of stuff down here as far as the format goes. It's a very simple format what you wrote, and yeah, I kind of stick somewhat to it. A major champion, possibly a secondary championship, but that's up for debate. Tag champs and your challengers for it, yeah. But I think I would worry less about your format in the beginning of starting a promotion. Is so fucking. It's such a touchy topic. Like I need more time to really divulge into what I would do as far as starting a promotion and how I would format it. But to me, to start, because that's the question of starting a promotion, I need one guy that I know for sure I'm going to push to the goddamn moon. I need one team that I know for a fact I'm going to push to the goddamn moon. And I wouldn't even worry about comedy acts or mid-card stuff, because I don't think you should designate someone a mid-card. I don't think you should designate someone a comedy act. I would like my audience to determine that. If my audience likes the guy but really doesn't feel he's a world champion, then that guy's going to be a mid-card. I don't feel I should be making that determination. I think I can try. I'll put a guy in that spot, see what happens, but if he ends up getting over, he's going to the top. He ends up not getting over, he might even go lower than mid-card. So as far as that goes, I would take one guy to be my main guy. He might not even be my champion, but he's the main guy. One main tag, and then the rest, I'm letting the people decide. You know, he could be a mid-card guy. If a guy ends up wanting to be because then that's another thing. You can't choose a comedy act. Guy has to actually be funny. He's got to be, the people have to believe he's hilarious. He's funny, that he's going to get attention. So, no, I mean, you can't designate those things. But as far as like one major champion and one challenger, I don't know who that challenger is going to be. I know who my champion's going to be. I probably know for sure who my top guy is going to be. Who he goes against, who's going to be that challenger, that's going to vary. Same thing with the tag champs. I may think, because I've had it before, where I've booked matches before, where like, oh, this team versus this team's going to be great, and then it was the shits, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that wasn't freaking what happened there. The bottom fell out. When you're starting a promotion, everything is like the podcast. Everything's liquid. So you just got to go and see what the people like, and more importantly, see what they're going to spend money on, and then you just go from there, bro. So, thanks for the question. If anybody else has questions, like I was just saying before I caught on to it, the email, ajorsini96host@gmail.com, and all those different platforms that I gave you guys earlier, I'll have the links in the show down below where you guys can check it out. So, thank you for the question. If you guys have any more questions, you know where to hit me up. I've said it 1,000 times. So, thank you guys very much, and I will catch you guys later.
At my house. Listen to my daddy so. Listen to the